Welcome to the professor's channel. Two Americans have been cut. They went from the United States. They went to Ukraine to help train the Ukrainian army, or at least part of the Ukrainian. That's what they did. But these two gentlemen were actually caught and arrested by the Russian army. So suddenly now these two Americans are in the custody of the Russian army. So yesterday, Vladimir Putin spokesperson say that these two Americans are not covered under the Geneva Convention. So they are kind of more like enemy combatants. And the reason I mention enemy combatants, you guys remember what happened when we went to Iraq, when we went to Afghanistan. The United States argued that the ISIS fighters were enemy combatants, not covered under the Geneva Convention. So in other words, they weren't just people in a military fighting a war. So the Russians are now saying, hey, these guys, they're not covered under the Geneva Convention, so therefore we're going to treat them as enemy combatants, and they are subject to the death penalty as the law is in Russia. Of course, the United States is not very happy about that. The White House made a statement basically saying that Russia ought to be ashamed. This is not the way things are done, and so on and so forth. But here's the thing, guys. You cannot do things the way you think you should do them and expect people not to learn from your own behavior. The United States went into Afghanistan, we went into Iraq, we did what we needed to do, and the world should just follow suit. No one argued about anything. No one, we're trying to say the ICC somehow because the United States committed war crimes. So now, the parents of these two gentlemen are on CNN and other US media arguing for the treatment, for the good treatment of these two gentlemen as prisoners of war. First of all, that's absolute nonsense. Okay? Those two gentlemen are American citizens. As far as I know, the United States is not fighting a direct war with Russia. These two gentlemen are not part of the American army, as far as I know. So they cannot be treated under the Geneva Convention. So when people talk about that, it's absolute nonsense. The Geneva Convention doesn't apply to them. First of all, they had no business in Iraq. They should have not been there to begin with. The fact that in fact, Joe Biden have said many times that Americans should not go to Ukraine. They should not try to help Ukraine because if they get caught, they get arrested by the Russians. There's nothing that can be done. So those two guys are now in Russian prison or jail, and they're going to be judged. They're going to be put into the justice system. Obviously, the Russians have their own justice system, whether you like it or not. That's what their system. The system is perfect. And certainly, they may end up getting sentenced, receiving the death penalty. So the issue is really very simple. Whatever works for the United States, in other words, however you can judge U.S. interests or U.S. action, you should also do the same for the Russians. So I don't think that the U.S. should have one standard for itself and another standard for the rest of the world. So these two guys, they had no business being there. In fact, who would remember that during the fight with ISIS in Afghanistan and Somalia and other places around the world, the White House counsel actually wrote a memorandum of law claiming that basically the Geneva Convention doesn't apply to enemy combatants. So these two guys, these two Americans in Ukraine, they are enemy combatants. So they're not protected under the Geneva Convention and they can get the death penalty. And this is from the professor. If you're not living in the edge, you're taking too much space. If you don't know now, you know.